1, 2, 3, 4. Variety show. 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 Everybody clap. Hey, fucker, sit down! Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of a comedy show because it's been a while since I posted one. And then also, I haven't done one for the comedy show yet, so it's going to be live still, like I've been planning for a month or two. I have a lot going on, and a lot physically, and then I can't remember stuff too well, so I forget that I was supposed to be making videos and working towards the big 1, 2, 3, 4 variety show, comedy show that I'm going to do, and maybe some other people. I don't know. Depends on who else. Should have some music with it. Maybe something like what I was singing on the on the way in, but with music and somebody singing who can sing. A lot of people out there who sing. A lot of people out there who make music, and they're just kind of sitting on their talent and instruments. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll get. This is going to be the big break. Is coming on this show. So we're coming up. I might not do that live show on my other channel, which I've made specifically for, because not a lot of people are going on there to subscribe from telling people on this channel. So I might end up just doing it on this and doing this some other time, and just put my shows on there like Draft Snake. I'll probably reset my Draft Snake shows on 1, 2, 3, 4 variety show. But anyway, I was thinking here. There's a lot of funny things that happened in my childhood, and a lot of my humor, and maybe 1, 2 people the whole time had any kind of similar humor that I did. Everybody else kind of thought it was stupid or didn't understand why we're laughing at that. So I'd like to get back at all those people, and what I do in my show that like I might have done back when I was in the 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and beyond. And so we have that back then, the booger. I mean, we played marbles as kids in 4th grade, I remember. And you have little marbles, and you go like this with them, and you're supposed to shoot them and hit the other people's marbles. And if you hit them, you get to collect theirs, and they can get like yours. And sometimes some guys are going around with big sacks of marbles, and then other people, like me, would usually have a smaller bag because I lost my marbles. Even though that happened later, the other kind of lost my marbles happened as an adult. So go figure. There was a kid. We were walking back from the playground recess. And I said, look at these marbles. They have these cool little designs in there, like little ribbons-looking things in there. And he says, yeah, my dad makes marbles. Yeah, makes marbles. He says, well, can you put you can put anything you want in a marble if you want. He makes marbles. And I said, what about a booger? Can you put a booger in a marble? And he says, yeah, we can do that. I can do that too. So the rest of the school year, whenever I'd see him, where's that booger marble? Where's the booger marble? And so I guess he was, I guess that kid was full of shit, probably. As best as I can, gather up. Yeah, he didn't have. I wonder if even his dad made marbles. So I don't know who a glass blower would do that or what. I don't know. And then I had to find how it's made, booger marble, on the TV. How it's made, booger marble. So then this is an example. That one wasn't necessarily a funny example of what I was talking about bizarre humor. But I had a friend. We were in the 7th grade, and he had very similar tastes in comedy. Just some of the most bizarre things. And like when we were in the 7th grade, we couldn't drive, but we had older friends, and they were driving. We were driving down the street, and we were sitting in the back seats. I said, "Oh, look at that guy!" What? I said, "Hey, honk the horn!" Get the guy up front to honk the horn, and then then the guy would be, he would turn his head like this. And for some reason, that was hilarious. And look at the way he turned his head. So after a while, we got banned from them driving us around, because we would do stuff like that, driving all over town. And it's really silly, nonsense comedy. But for some reason, we thought it was pretty funny. There was another thing that happened when this just shows how kind of naive I was when I was little. I was around. I'm youngest of fifth, and by a number of years too. Number of 5 kids, and then so I got messed around a lot with my siblings, tricking me, and maybe not just my siblings either. Some other people in the family, or kids that were cousins down the street, down the road. So then they would lead me on with things, and it would turn into something quite elaborate, because I would ask elaborate questions like, "Oh, is this what's going to happen here?" And they made it a little more elaborate. And so one time, the county fair was happening. This was in Phoenix, and not in Vermont. It was in the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. That's the one where the guy, he comes on, he's Johnny Gravel type of guy. Veterans Memorial Coliseum, Sunday. And that was a real thing. You know, people joke around about that, but that actually they did it. I mean, I saw Hulk Hogan there, and he ripped off his shirt, and then now he's dead now, and it's probably I guess it's too soon to make jokes about it. But if you're dealing with anti-comedy, which I kind of like, I guess you could just joke around all you want about him, because there's no punchline. So anyway, he ripped off his shirt and flew up onto the clouds to go somewhere, and then whether he had thought a little bit more about what he did at that convention. But anyway, his ripped off shirt. So, but I saw him in the Coliseum when he was doing this, you know, and doing that, and then there were some other famous ones there when I was a kid, you know, like in the 5th, 6th grade, and then so anyway, there's some older friends that I had. I guess you'd call them friends, but they were older, and they were leading me on about some kind of thing. Like there's a day at the fair where they have all kinds of sexual rides. You know, like a big dick ride, the big dick roller coaster, and all these things that just kept on going on and on. You go through the haunted cave, and we'll walk around in there, and there's girls with their shirts off, and anything that they could tell me, and I was believing. I was shocked. I said, "No way! There's no way they're doing this." And then it was, what is it called? They said it's called Dick Day. Dick Day. But I believed all these things. You know, I didn't know. And I think it's funny now, but you know, I think it did a lot of damage to me because it wasn't just them doing it to me. I was just ripe for that sort of thing. And no wonder my comedy's so warped. So then it was coming up, and they said, "Oh, it's going to be this Saturday, and they're going to block it off, and no other people can go in, but adults, maybe some teenagers, you know." I guess they wanted to include themselves in this if they're going to go in there. Then we were sitting at one of those guys' house, and sitting around, and his parents were there, and we were watching TV, and the news came on, and they said something. They had something on. It was like, I had thought, oh no, this was like this is real, because the way they said everything about the comedy. The event, and it had the guy came on, the news guy came on like with this kind of somber, like something interesting, something not quite right at the fair, and not everyone is happy about it. And it was something like that, you know, like they get to, oh, he's talking about Dick Day, I know. And then I said he said it out. Is it Dick Day? And his parents are there and everything. And they're like, Dick Day? Yeah, they said it's a Dick Day this weekend, it's Saturday. And then they figure out that they were leading me on. But stupid shit, huh? That goes on while we're kids and adults. But I'm trying to think if there was another one. Oh, Charles Bronson a friend of that, one of the same kids that I was friends with, not the older ones doing that crap. It was he was we would go and go to the we'd go to the movie store and video store and get videos. And they had the dollar ones, and so we got Charles Bronson movies. We watched all those Charles Bronson movies, and then in class, when we were in class the next day, if we happened, one of the classes we were together because they switched classes around. You know, you go math here, English there, but not always the same as people. So then we had he said, he started to draw one, and then I drew a dick, not a dick day, but it's coming up, something like that. So he'd draw a picture, and then I would get it, and I would draw some more on it, and then he'd take it back, and then it ended up being a Charles Bronson. The teacher grabbed it, says, "What the hell is this?" And and you could tell his face was really struggling not to smile and laugh. It was a guy, it was a Charles Bronson, and his face looked exactly like Charles Bronson. All this little, it's not too hard to do when you think about it. His hair, make his hair like that, and then make that little mustache, and it's not too hard. And then the little growl crease between the eyebrows rather, and then he would and he said, "What the heck's this?" He just put it somewhere, and then he didn't mention anymore. But it had Charles Bronson, you know, like his face, and doing one of those squints with his mustache. It looked exactly like Charles Bronson. And then I think my friend was the one who drew a big dick come way out here like that. And then yeah, I guess that's it for now. These things, and I ended up coming up with a couple of things to say so that I could make it not so long, but I ended up making these a little bit longer. So, I guess that's it. I guess I'm going to turn this off now. 1, 2, 3, 4, variety show. 1, 2, 3, 4, variety show.